Hey, digital friends. Before we dive into today's chapter of Allow Other Humans to See You're Human, I want to share something with you, something about how this book was written and why it was written the way it was. This isn't your typical book. It's not academic first, emotional second. It's not packaged for palatability. What you're experiencing is something I call reverse research, a method where I live it, I write it, and then I go back to validate it with research. In other words, the emotions come before the citations. This isn't just a technique, it's a form of emotional sovereignty. Instead of asking, what have others said? I start with, what have I lived? I let my memory, my body, and my emotions be the first data source. That's why some of what you'll hear in this season might sound raw, fragmented, or vulnerable. Because it is. Allow Other Humans to See You're Human wasn't written in isolation and then published. It was lived with the audience, with you. This season isn't just a reading, it's an experiment, a collaboration, a chance for your reflection and feedback to shape the final published version. That's why I'm holding off on releasing the printed book until this season is complete, because I believe in building something with you, not just for you. So if you're listening and something resonates, if you have a story, an idea, a correction, or a mirror moment, I want to hear it. That's how we grow this book together. That's how we build emotional truth as a community. Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to polish this message for market approval. There's no amount of money that will make me sand down this message. Not this time. Not this truth. With that being said, welcome to Season 2 of Digital EQ Reimagined, the Living Book Series. Allow Other Humans to See You're Human. I'm your host, Dedrick, and our journey of self-discovery begins now. Allow Other Humans to See You're Human. A Guide for Emotional Truth Beyond the Avatar, authored by Dedrick Burns and digital friends, from the Digital EQ Reimagined podcast, Season 2 Living Book Series. Dedications. This book is not dedicated to the performance. It's dedicated to the presence. The one we're reclaiming, the one we're becoming, the one we all deserve. To every soul who has ever swallowed their truth for the comfort of others, may this be your permission to exhale. This is for the future where realness isn't punished, where emotions aren't manipulated, where being human is enough. With truth, with care, and with hope, Dedrick. Preface. Before you begin, this is not a self-help book. It's not here to fix you. It's not here to tell you who to be. This is a mirror, a moment, a conversation between your present self and the self you've been carrying beneath the performance. You don't need to read it all at once. In fact, I hope you don't. Read it like a journal, like a whisper, like a sacred pause between the noise. Let each chapter breathe. Let each truth land. Let yourself feel. You don't owe anyone your transformation. You only owe yourself the truth. Welcome to the unmasking. I'll meet you wherever you are. Dedrick. Chapter 1. The Algorithmic Self. The mask we didn't know we were wearing. We don't always perform because we want to. We perform because we've been trained to. On social platforms, in job interviews, in Zoom calls, even in our authentic content, we curate, we sharpen the edges, we speak with just enough vulnerability to look human, but not enough to risk disapproval. We've learned how to be seen without being revealed. Why? Because the system rewards the mask, being too real, too raw, too unfiltered. It makes people uncomfortable. It risks exclusion. It risks being overlooked for the promotion, the collaboration, the opportunity. It's not that we're fake, it's that we're strategic. And somewhere along the way, we confused being strategic with being safe. This isn't just cultural, it's coded. The algorithm decides what gets visibility, what gets attention, what gets affirmation. So we post for performance, not presence. We express not what we feel, but what's expected. Because going off script means taking up space we weren't always invited into. And we've been taught, subtly, consistently, that fitting in is safer than being fully seen. But there's a cost. The more we filter our emotions for digital approval, the less we trust our emotions in real life. We begin to forget what joy feels like when it isn't being posted. We delay our grief until it's packaged enough for a caption. We start to believe that if something doesn't get a reaction, maybe it wasn't real at all. And so, without even realizing it, we become avatars. Curated, composed, engaging, but not engaged. Visible, but not felt. But here's the truth: the algorithm doesn't want you to remember. You are not content. You are not a brand. You are not here to perform emotional intelligence. You are here to live it. And living it starts with one question: what would happen if I let someone see the real me? But before we can answer that question, before we can imagine what it would be like to be seen without the polish, we have to be honest about why we put the mask on in the first place. Because it's not always fear. Sometimes it's survival. We learn to hide our real selves in digital spaces because vulnerability in the wrong context can cost you your job, your credibility, your community, your peace. And when emotional truth starts to feel like emotional liability, we trade it in for performance. Not because we're weak, because we're smart, because we live in a system that praises openness in theory, but penalizes it in practice. A system that profits from your personality, but punishes your humanity. So we craft a version of ourselves that's emotionally engaging, but rarely emotionally honest. You know the version: the smiling but tired one, the strong but silent one, the always grinding one, the one who posts carefully worded updates about success while silently grieving something they haven't told a soul. This version of you, it didn't come from nowhere. It came from watching others get burned for being real. It came from being taught that professionalism means emotional invisibility. It came from growing up in environments where too much feeling made people pull away. And now it lives in your captions, in your self edits, in your hesitation to say, I'm not okay, when someone asks how you're doing. But here's the paradox: the longer we perform strength, the more disconnected we become. And the more disconnected we are, the harder it becomes to know what's real in ourselves and in others. We begin to crave connection but fear intimacy. We want to be seen, but don't trust that people will stay if they really see us. So we post, we polish, we perform, and deep down we wonder why we still feel alone. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, is the mask still protecting me, or is it preventing me? Preventing me from being known, from being supported, from being real. The mask served a purpose. It helped us navigate systems that were never built for softness. It helped us get through jobs, relationships, and spaces that didn't have room for our full emotional range. But what happens when that mask becomes permanent? What happens when it stops being a filter for safety and starts being a barrier to intimacy? We think we're being strong. We think we're doing what we have to do. But deep down, we're keeping people at a curated distance, hoping someone will care enough to reach through it. But here's the thing: no one can reach through what they can't see. And if the people around you only know the performance, they'll never know how to show up for the person. You don't have to rip the mask off all at once. That's not bravery, that's exposure. But maybe, just maybe, you could loosen the strap. Let someone see the part of you that isn't always on. The version that doesn't have the answer. The one that's tired or unsure or quietly hoping someone will ask twice when you say, I'm good. Because that moment, that's not weakness. That's humanity. And it might be the very thing that someone else needed permission to show too. Keeping the mask on isn't free. It has a cost, and sometimes the price is your peace. Every time you show up polished when you're unraveling, that's emotional labor. Every moment you swallow your sadness to appear resilient, you're taxing your nervous system. Every I'm fine when you're really not. That's another layer of distance between you and the connection you crave. The mask isn't just tiring, it's exhausting. It turns relationships into performances. It makes rest feel like failure. And it turns every unshared truth into a weight you carry alone. At first, it feels empowering, strategic, it keeps you safe, but over time, it becomes a prison of your own curation. You start to question whether people love you or just the version of you you've shown them. You wonder if you can ever stop performing without losing what you've built. You fear that if you ever took it off, even just for a moment, everything would collapse. But here's the truth you already know in your bones. Keeping the mask on doesn't prevent collapse. It guarantees a different kind of breakdown, one that comes slowly, silently, and often when no one's around to help you through it. So, no, I'm not asking you to take it off yet, but I'm asking you to count the cost, not in dollars or data or metrics, but in emotional wear and tear. What has the mask cost you in connection, in rest, in realness? And what might it be saving you from that you no longer need protection from? Just think about that. So, no, I'm not asking you to take off the mask. I'm not rushing you. I'm not watching from the outside, telling you how free it feels to live barefaced. I'm in the mask with you, and I know what it's like to feel safer behind it, to feel like you have to perform strength so convincingly that eventually you forget what it feels like to be soft. I've worn this mask for a long time, so long that I began to confuse it with my face, and so long that when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself without it. So long that I started to believe connection was something you earned by being curated, not something you deserved just by being human. I've smiled through exhaustion. I've held space for others while quietly falling apart. I've posted the uplifting thing while crying in private and thinking, I can't say that here. I can't be that here. And what I want you to know is this: it worked. The mask worked. It got me through things. It helped me stay upright. It made people believe I was okay, even when I wasn't. But it also made it hard for people to see me, to support me, to connect with the parts of me I'd buried so deeply, even I forgot where I'd left them. So, no, I'm not here to rip your mask away. But I am here to whisper from inside my own, you don't have to wear it forever. And when you're ready, not before, we'll start remembering what your real face feels like again, together. Thank you for spending this moment with me. Whether this chapter stirred something big or something quiet, whether it mirrored your mask or revealed one you hadn't named yet, know this: your emotions are valid, and your silence is not absence. It's presence, too. This isn't just a podcast, it's part of a living book. And you're a part of that living process. If something resonated, if you've got a memory, a mirror moment, or even a gentle disagreement, feel free to share it. Your story could be the missing line that helps someone else unmask. But no pressure. This isn't content built for clicks. It's built for clarity. It's built for you to return to, not react to reflect, not perform. And if you're not ready to share, that's okay. Just remember, I'm leaving the lantern in the window. So if you're ever stumbling through the dark, you'll know where to come. Until next time, stay emotionally sovereign, stay deeply human, and allow yourself to see you're human too. I'll see you in the next one.